the deep emotions in us that we don't recognize. By ourselves, they don't come out, but when we interact with people, they come out. It's only through recognizing our mistakes when we get a chance to correct ourselves. When we say that a particular kind of person brings out the worst in us, and that's what it means, is it brings out the worst so that we can correct it. Perhaps nothing is said, but they somehow touch a raw nerve, right? They push a button. Somehow we feel agitated. Somebody has pushed a button. But by ourselves, we don't know where the button is to push. But when you're in a community, people can help you push your buttons. So it can be a shock to realize that an individual has evoked us and made us behave uncharacteristically. So it's like, I cannot believe I behaved that way. I cannot believe that I have such anger towards that situation, that person. I've never been this angry, right? So without interacting with that person, you never get a chance to recognize who you are deeply inside. So of course, that is just half the story, right? The unpleasant side is always there, but this also brings out the positive in us, right? When interacting with people, we have a chance to test our courage, test our compassion, and test our abilities. For example, during the pandemic, here we were forced to shut down, and Mr. Shen said, well, we need to do something to reach out to the community. Because people at a time like this, people need a place to dwell spiritually, right? A place to depend on, to rely on. So we need to reach out to those, but at the same time we have to observe the CDC recommendations and all the preventive measures to keep a safe and healthy environment. So one way is to do this YouTube broadcasting, live streaming to continue that engagement. And so we were, as a group, we had never done this before. But through our interactions that we have established a broadcast, a live streaming channel so that to allow that interaction to continue. We've learned something that we've never done before, but without this opportunity, we would not learn another skills. Right? We cannot transform ourselves unless we have the full sense of what lies within us. Without seeing our mistakes, we cannot improve. And without seeing the goodness, the positivity, the abilities in us, then we will not be encouraged to say, I can do this. While interacting with people can bring out the worst in us, it can also bring out the best in us. So just being with them makes us feel lighter, cheerful, and energetic and positive, right? A week of heavy loads at work, you feel tired, distressed, very stressful. But when you come to a Sangha, a spiritual community, knowing that people have the same vision, the same goal as you, the same passion, it makes you feel joyful. So it brings out the best in us. Other people can also sometimes activate resources of kindness and decency that we didn't know we had in us. Right? During a time like this, it is a test of courage. Do we shy away and hide, or be willing to express our compassion to help? Like the city, LA City is asking for financial support because they don't have enough beds or an equipment to help the sick. And of course, during this time, it's very challenging economically. Are we courageous enough to carve out a little bit of what we have to help those who are in dire need? Right? It's a test, and if we can do that, then we have uncovered the kindness, decency, the compassion that we did not know we had. Something that was not active before is stirred up, positively or negatively. Either negatively or positively, it's a chance to learn and to grow. In a pandemic, it can bring out the compassion, the courage. So instead of forming wandering thoughts of gloomy future, of what's going to be, we can cause rise to compassion to help others. And it's like the seed that thrives in soil, water, and sunlight. But without the conditions, it would not have a chance to grow into a tree of beautiful flowers and sweet, wonderful fruits. We've learned about compassion, but it's like a green mango. It's sour. You cannot eat it yet. So what we learned is we want to express that compassion, but it hasn't come to fruition yet. Our compassion has not come to fruition yet. But in a time like this, where there's a lot of fear, uncertainty, if we're willing to rise above our own ego, we are providing the conditions for the seed of compassion to grow. But if we don't, then the seed of compassion that we've learned would not have the conditions to grow. We're depriving ourselves of growth and advancement spiritually.